Hello everybody, welcome back. So today's video should be really fun because we are going to be doing some home decor DIYs that I've been really wanting to do for a while, and they're all very crafty. Well, some of them are more crafty than others, and I'm excited to see if I'm able to do these things or not. So as you may or may not know, we bought our place about 2 years ago now. It's kind of taken me this long to really get settled in with like our furniture and different things, and I feel like the house is really starting to come together now and starting to look really nice, and I feel like I'm at the point now where I can start adding these finishing touches with home decor. And it also took me this time to kind of figure out my style. I think for Christian and I, it's like cozy is number one, and then quite minimal because we have Luna, so we can't really have a lot of like things that she can knock over because she likes to knock things over. So quite minimal, quite cozy, everything's soft edges and soft corners. Christian and I bump into things quite a bit, so if everything's kind of soft, it just makes it feel more comfortable for us. So those are some of the things that we are focusing on. So let's get into it. So the first piece of home decor that we are going to be tackling today is going to be this, well, I'll just show you. So here's a picture from Pinterest. So it's this little macrame fruit basket hanger. Okay, so the reason why I was really drawn to this is because I'm trying to keep our counter like not full of stuff. So I want to have a lot of counter space, and then this elevates your fruits so that they're not taking up counter space, but they're out of the fridge and open and in front of your eyes. Because if you don't know, Christian and I both have ADHD, and if something is put away and not in front of us, we kind of just forget that it exists. Having the fruits out and in front of us, hopefully we'll waste less fruits because we'll see them there and we'll be like, oh, a little treat. And so we'll go to grab them more. So that's kind of the balance that I'm trying to find with the kitchen, is having things out so that we remember them, but then also having it not too cluttery so it's not overwhelming. And you know, we don't have a ton of counter space because it's a smaller kitchen. We're like in a 1-bedroom apartment. So I thought this was the perfect solution to not take up too much counter space, but to have our fruits out. So that is the reason behind this DIY. Now, have I ever macramed anything before? No. Is macrame a word? Perhaps. So, you know, I've done knitting, I've done crochet. Macrame is just the natural next step, right? So like, I think I can handle it. We'll see. I got this macrame cord that we're gonna use that I got from Michael's. And I had these rods. Well, it was one rod that I cut into two. They're just like little wood rods. These were actually from Luna's DIY chair that I ended up making, that we ended up having to take apart because the roof was starting to collapse. And now it's just a chair with no roof. So I'm gonna use that piece of wood and cut it in half and use it for this. So always recycling things around here, and we're letting things go to waste. So those are the materials. And then I also got these little hook hangers to hang it afterwards, and they're painted white, so hopefully they match the cupboards and then they won't stick out too much. So that's all we need for this one. Let's just go ahead and start it. I've never done macrame before, so I'm watching a tutorial and I'm just adding the pieces first, and then you have these long stringy strings. And then I'm just gonna sit here and go ahead and work on my little hammock for my fruits. Essentially here, I'm just following the tutorial to attach the pieces, and then just making sure everything's even and fitting onto the dowel, making sure I have the correct amount of pieces. But I'm just following the instructions, and this was pretty easy. I wasn't sure if I'd have enough room on this dowel. As you can see, it's like quite tightly packed, but maybe that's how it's supposed to be. I think it's probably supposed to be quite tightly packed. So that's how it's looking. I've got them all placed on here, and then I think it's time now to start doing the actual macrame. So I gotta watch the tutorial and see what my next steps are. But even just by itself like this, like that already looks pretty cool, so I'm excited. Good morning. So for this macrame hanger, I think I showed you guys, the macrame is done. Obviously not the best, it's the first time I've ever done it. So it's not super even, but it's gonna be hanging like this, so you're not even gonna see the flaws. Now, the bigger flaws are these ends. I tied them all off just like the tutorial said to do, but they are all coming loose because it's like such thick cord that like it's just unraveling itself. So you actually, it says in the tutorial too, you actually have to glue the ends with like Elmer's glue. So I've used some glue in this part here just to test it, and this is working great. So I'm gonna go ahead and go across the rest of it, and then I can trim the little ugly bits so that it looks nice and even like this end. So I have this No More Nails that I've been using, and it's for porous types of things, so that's working really well. This part's holding, so that was my little test. I'm gonna go ahead and go across the whole thing, and then hopefully this will stay. So here's what it looks like all glued down, and then I ended up just trimming the excess little pieces there, but now it's time to see the results. And not to brag, but I think this looks pretty good for my first time macrameing, so don't be scared if you're scared to try it, just do it. It's not as hard as it looks. For the next DIY, it's kind of random, but I've been seeing lately like tissue box covers, and they're so cute, and then they just make the place so cozy, especially if it's a little knit or crochet one. So I really wanted to try making this and making my own pattern for it because I have an idea in my head of what I want it to look like. I think I want to use garter stitch, and you know, it needs to be easy to take on and off. I kind of have nose issues. I actually got surgery back in 2019 for my deviated septum, and it's still not perfect. I still can't breathe great at all. So I need to have tissues around, but I never buy them because I forget. So I think having the little tissue box cover will be a good reminder for me to like replenish the tissue box and make sure I have tissues always. And it's just like a nice little beautiful, gorgeous, demure piece of home decor. So that is the raison d'etre of this beautiful tissue box cover. So let's get into making it. So I guess step one is going to be making a swatch. So let's go ahead and make a swatch for this. This is the swatch so far. I want it to be a really easy, simple, fun pattern. It's gonna be garter stitch, so it's quite simple, but looks like very textured, as we've talked about that being my theme lately. So very textured, but also just like really simple, beautiful, fun. I'm using this Hometown by Lion brand yarn. What color is this? It's machine washable, easy peasy. Oh, Houston Cream is the color. So I've got this yarn vomit right now, but basically just trying to see how much I can get done of my swatch this morning before I start work, and then I'll probably do a little more this evening. That's where we're at right now, so I'll check back in with you guys in a bit. Okay, so I've finished making the swatch. Here it is. The reason I needed to do this is so that I can measure how many stitches are in 4 inches by 4 inches on this, and then we can determine how many stitches we need. Then I now have to do the math and take the size of the tissue box and then divide it by the amount of stitches I have per that measurement, and then I can get how many stitches I need for the box. I'm actually gonna write a tutorial for this pattern, but if you kind of want to just follow along with my instructions and then you don't— Luna, I'm filming! Oh. She's arguing with me right now. I'm trying to film! Sorry, Luna. Okay, but anyways, if you want, I'm gonna release the pattern for this eventually, hopefully soon, so stick around for that. But if you want to just do this yourself, I'm gonna like break down the instrucciones right now. So pulling out the iPad here so that I can draw a little diagram to kind of show you what the plan is. But we are gonna make a little tissue box. Wow, can you believe I do illustration for a living? That's my tissue box. So this tissue box is 7.5 by 2.25 by 4, which are pretty standard tissue. Luna! I'm gonna put in a video of what she's doing right now. I don't know if you can hear her screaming, I'm sorry. So anyways, you're gonna want your measurements for your tissue box. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start knitting the top panel first. So I'm gonna knit this first panel like this, and I'm gonna do a provisional cast on so that these stitches are live. Then I'm going to knit this next panel. When I'm picking up these stitches, I'm gonna start knitting like normal with my picked up stitches. Then I'm going to bind off these middle stitches and measure, you know, where the tissue box opens. Then I'm going to knit across these ones. Then the next time around, you're gonna go knit and then cast on however many you cast off, and then go straight across. And then you're gonna keep going until you have the same amount on both sides. Then once you have it all even around, you're gonna pick up stitches around the edge here. And now you're gonna be knitting in the round. So you've knit this part through the hole in the middle, then you're gonna be knitting in the round. But because we're gonna be in 3D and we haven't been adding stitches, it's all gonna come around into this box shape. And the bottom will be open so that you can take it on and off. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add, like, weave in a piece of yarn to tie it tight and closed at the bottom. Whenever you take it on and off, it'll be like a little string basically around to take it on and off. So that is my breakdown of my plan of how I'm going to make my tissue box cover. And yeah, you can absolutely just do the measurements yourself and kind of follow along that tutorial if you want, but if you just want it simply broken down for you with all the stitches you need, or the yarn you need, all that, I will release the pattern. So now that we have our plan, we're gonna have to cast on. So I am using US 10.5. That's pretty much it for planning. So now let's go ahead and start knitting. So now you can see I've knitted to the point where I've gotten across the top and bound off and then cast on again to make the little holes. So here's me just testing it on my tissue box and it's fitting really well. So I'm just cracking away at this still, just getting all cozy with my little blankie on and knitting away. And then I ended up taking some time to write some of the instructions from the pattern down. It's actually coming along really nicely. It looks kind of funky right now because the needles are quite short, but like my cord is quite short for this. But I just have to continue going around now and then it's pretty much done. This is actually such a quick project because I probably only spent like an hour on this part. So I think in total this is going to be like a 2-hour knitting project, which is really nice. And I want to have a lot of variety on my website with my patterns of different projects like that are really quick and easy, or like more complex longer term projects. So it's nice to just have some really simple quick ones. So I'm gonna keep working on this, gonna glue this down, and I will update you guys in a bit. And here's the tissue box cover reveal. I tried to do all these glamour shots of it. I mean, she is gorgeous. Look at her from all these angles, but it turned out so cute, so demure, so classy, and I love having this piece in my living room now. Another thing that we need to home decor DIY is Christian and I just last weekend did a makeover of our patio. I should have filmed it because the before and after was crazy. Christian was actually like, I don't even want to show the before because it's so horrendous. Like, I'm embarrassed to even show the before. But anyways, we got the after looking gorgeous. It looks so amazing now, but the last piece that needs to be done is this little table that we have out there that used to be a little coffee table for inside, but it's way too small and an odd shape for inside and it just wasn't working for us. But it's really perfect for on our patio, except for the piece of wood that it came with was not treated to live outside. I don't even know if it was wood. It was falling apart and molding and like all messed up because it had been out there for a while because I had no room for it in the house. That was kind of my just like putting it away area, but then I realized, oh, it's kind of cute out here actually. Anyways, that wood was completely gross. It was probably like plywood with like cardboard. I don't know. It was basically cardboard. Like it was like shit quality. It's hard to find furniture that's actually good quality nowadays. But the frame is actually really nice quality because the frame is metal and then there's a piece of glass on the second tier. So all that needed to be replaced is that wood piece at the top, which we're like, oh, why don't we just get a wood piece cut at Home Depot to the correct size, like a piece of plywood, then just stain it and seal it for outside. And then we'll have a cute little table for outside. So that'll be kind of like our final piece of our patio DIY. I mean, I'd obviously love to do some pillows or some other decor out there, but for now, for this video, that's gonna be like our one piece for the patio. So what I'm gonna do is I have a stain and a sealer, and basically we're just going to sand it down, add the stain, add the sealer, and see how it looks. So let's get right into staining. So I have my piece of wood right here. It has been cut and measured to fit into this table perfectly. As I said before, we had to take the old piece out because it was molded and rotten, because this is a piece of inside furniture, but we don't have room inside for this one anymore. So we need a thing outside here, so it's gonna work perfect. So yeah, we've got our piece of wood. First, I need to sand the edges to make sure that they're not sharp. Then the next step is going to be applying stain. So this is the stain I'm going to use. It's kind of like a reddy color. It's really pretty. And then I'm going to use a wood finish on top just to seal it, make sure it's all really sealed and good. So this is Penetrates, Stains, and Seals. It's got a little bit of a tint to it, but this is a more strong color, so I think it'll be fine. I don't want to buy anything and I have this, and it'll seal it real nice, so we want to do that. I also have to be very careful because I am outside, but I'm going to do this by putting it on the table and then just painting one side, waiting for that to dry, and then flipping it and then staining the other side once that's dry. Also, this is black, so if any stain gets on it, it shouldn't stick. It should be easy to wipe off if anything goes wrong. So I just have to make sure I don't drip any on here. Christian probably doesn't even want to watch this. I'm also going to put some plastic down so that there's no issues. So anyways, step one. What's it called? What is this stuff called? Sandpaper. Let's do it. Here's some time lapse of me sanding with the sound removed, because when people leave the sandpaper sound in their videos, it makes me want to cry. So for the first attempt on the first side, I ended up just using a rag and rubbing it on. And this usually works pretty well for me with like maybe darker woods, with like stains that aren't as bright and as dark as this one. But with this one, you could see all the lines and all the little flaws. And then I was trying to do circular motions. It just was not working, and it looked really, really bad. So I decided to follow the instructions that were written on the can for the next side. Wow, I know, genius, right? But I used a sponge and really, really saturated the whole table and tried to make it as even as possible. And then I let it sit for 2 to 5 minutes like the instructions said. And then I took a rag and wiped the excess off, and this side turned out better, so this is going to be the side that everybody sees. And this was a pretty quick and easy DIY, so let's check out the reveal. I think it turned out pretty good. It's still a little bit uneven, the stain job. I didn't do the best job with it, but I tried my best. I don't know if I love this color out here, but I mean, I was just using what I had, so let me know what you guys think. Do you like the color? Should I try to add a different color on top? What do we think? Okay, now one last little detail just to finish up this home decor while I'm on the train of like doing nice things to fix up the home. I don't know if this is decor. I mean, technically it is, because we have this gorgeous coffee table. It's really, really beautiful. But once again, it looks really nice, but it's weirdly not great quality. So I was doing a different DIY, and then I was putting tape just on the edge because I thought it was wood or wood veneer, so I thought it'd be fine to put tape on the edge, and then just, you know, when you're taping things and you cut a bunch first. And it's not strong tape, it was just like packing tape. Anyways, I pulled up and it ripped off a little piece of what I thought was veneer. Clearly it was like just some sort of paper coating with like a wood texture like printed on it. It's so weird because you can see underneath it's like white paper basically. So there's this little blemish in my table now, and it's very sad. And I could have bought the, like, I guess wax, you know, things that you use, oh my god, wax crayons that you buy to like fill in the wood colors whenever you have like something happen with your veneer or whatever. But I am a painter. I can just mix accurate colors. I'm thinking of using acrylic paint and or my colored pencils, because the wax kind of pencils are basically colored pencils anyways. So let's go ahead and see, because it's like paper texture underneath. I'm not sure if the wax pencils will, the crayons will work. So I'm gonna have to probably use the acrylic paint. But I feel confident enough in my painting abilities that I think we can get a good color match. Let's go ahead and start painting. All right, so here's the blemish, and here's some crayons to try first. By the way, aren't you so satisfied by how I've organized these different colors? Anyways, okay. I have this brown here. And let's just see. So I decided to go with the wax crayons, obviously. I tried them first and clearly these were working great, so I just went ahead and stuck with it. I used a black, a dark brown to get kind of my grain texture and my overall color, just to color match this piece of wood. And then at the end, to add my highlights, because there's these little highlights in the grain, I used a yellow just because the cooler undertone matched this cooler style grain of wood. So just kind of try to look at the wood you have and try to match the colors like that. Then I also went ahead and matched the grain. There was some grain lines going that opposite direction, and that made it look really good. Are you kidding me? You can't even see where it was. Wow. And then I even did like a little bit going this way because there's grain lines there. You guys, don't waste your money buying the wood ones if you have crayons at home. These literally work the exact same. You cannot see it. I went ahead and I finished filling in the ones here. This looks brand new again. I am so happy. This was 100% success and it took me like 5 or 10 minutes. So definitely recommend this one if you have any wood problems in your life. If you have any issues with your wood, you know, this could help. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking about that at this angle. So, and here's a closer look. Tell me where the blemish was. This looks so amazing. I am so stoked about this one. Okay guys, that is everything for the home decor. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed. I had a lot of fun doing these little projects. I think the house looks so much better already. There's always more to do, but I think this was a good first step in the right direction of finally getting the home into a really cozy, awesome place. So thanks for coming along. I hope this was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun and I think everything looks great. I think they turned out really well, but let me know if you think they turned out well or not, because y'all are the real judges here. And if you're like, get rid of that, it looks bad, I won't be offended. I understand. So anyways, thank you so much for being here, and I appreciate ya, and I will see you next time. Bye guys.